Thanks very much, Chief, and I want to thank everyone for joining us here today. I want to give a special thanks to U.S. Attorney William Hopel, who has joined us here today. Thank you very much, Bill, for coming to join us. As I stand here today as mayor, I feel a deepening sense of responsibility to the young men and women of our Niagara Falls Fire Department. It's only natural because, our department is getting younger. The senior people in the Niagara Falls Fire Department are people that I grew up with, people that are my peers, and they were experts at their trade long before I got there as mayor of the city of Niagara Falls. But if you look at the people lined up in uniform here today for the Niagara Falls Fire Department, you'll see that over the course of the last few years, we've brought in a new generation of Niagara Falls firefighters. And it's been my great honor to have been there and had the opportunity to swear them in. And, there's a kind of standard speech that I give during the swearing-in ceremony. Most of you have probably heard this so many times by now that you're tired of hearing it, but I want to talk a little bit about the spirit of that speech here today, because I think it's important on this occasion. When I speak as well, I speak not just to those who are taking the oath, but to their families as well. And I explain to them that by taking the oath, they now have entered into a new family, the family of the public safety services of the city of Niagara Falls. And on that occasion, I make promises to them. I promise them that I will ensure that they have the absolutely best leaders that they could possibly have. And I think I've done that. I've got great chiefs and great senior officers in both the police and fire that do the best job not only to create public safety for our citizens, but to ensure that every single one of our firefighters and police officers returns home safely at the end of their shift. I promise those families that we will give the absolute best training to their sons and daughters so that they're prepared for whatever situations might come their way, knowing that there's some situations, I suppose, that you can never be prepared for. That's one of the lessons of 9/11. And finally, I promise them that we will provide the absolute best equipment that we possibly can in order to give them the best possible job, not just of protecting us, but of protecting themselves as they go about their very dangerous business every day. The one thing that I can't promise them or promise their families is the thing that I would most like to be able to promise, and that is that they will return home safely at the end of every shift. That I simply can't promise, because I'd be lying. It's in the nature of the fire service that it is dangerous business, and I cannot help but think every time that I administer the oath to a new firefighter that I might be assisting them in entering into a compact with the citizens of the city of Niagara Falls, the result of which might be that they might be asked to sacrifice their life for lives of their fellow citizens. But that's part of the bargain, right? In exchange, we owe them our utmost support. And that extends not just to providing good leadership, to providing good training, and to providing the very best equipment that we can provide. It also means that we need to make certain that they are fairly compensated during the time that they're working for us, that they have proper health care, including coverage in the event that they should become injured or disabled on the job, which of course is a constant threat, and that when they've served out their years with the Niagara Falls Fire Department, that we look after them in their retirement. And I renew my pledge today to make certain that we take care of those three very important things as well as the first two. I think we've got a special responsibility. We've got responsibilities to everyone who works hard for the city of Niagara Falls, and all our city employees work hard. But there's something different about the public safety services, because I understand when I administer that oath that each of these young men and women that puts on the uniform for the city of Niagara Falls they could lose their life the very first day on the job. It's possible. It can happen, right? And so we, from the very first day of their service, have a very, very special responsibility to them. And at this point, I feel as though my responsibility to lead here means that I have to try to defend my public safety services under some very difficult circumstances that we now face. Everyone knows that the city of Niagara Falls is undergoing some major financial hardship as a result of the failure of the Seneca Nation of Indians to deliver revenues to the state of New York, which means the state of New York has no revenues to deliver to us. We're somewhere, I suppose, around $60 million now that we're owed. And if you're wondering how we spend casino revenues when we have them to spend, look right in front of you at the new equipment that we've been able to purchase for the Niagara Falls Fire Department with those revenues. How ironic it is here on the anniversary of 9/11 when we're talking about the gallant efforts of New York City firefighters to rescue people from a high-rise office building in downtown Manhattan, that the entity that creates perhaps the greatest firefighting challenge for the city of Niagara Falls, the high-rise Seneca Hotel at the casino, is not paying their fair share of our public safety services. I know it's a difficult thing to have to discuss on the anniversary of 9/11, but it's a cold, hard reality that I have to face as mayor. And I'm rapidly reaching the point where I might have to talk to my fire chief about whether I would ask my firefighters to respond to a contingency in that high-rise hotel at a time when they're not keeping up their part of the social compact. How could I lay off firefighters and ask them to respond to a fire at the Seneca Hotel without having taken some sort of dramatic step somewhere along the line to make sure that they pay their fair share? As I say, these are difficult issues to try to discuss on the anniversary of 9/11, but I felt that it was something that absolutely needed to be said. There's a social compact that exists here. There are certain unwritten rules. Leave aside the legal agreements that underpin our society. One of the strongest of these is the relationship between society and those who protect its public safety, and I'm always going to stand very strongly for the maintenance of that relationship. If you want to be part of our community here in the city of Niagara Falls, you bought into that bargain. There is no alternative path. That said, we at one point here, just about a year ago, staged a ceremony up on the stage at the Niagara Falls Blues Festival. Coincidentally, the Blues Festival last year fell on the 10th anniversary of 9/11. And so I kept telling the promoters, you've got to be prepared. We're going to go up on stage. You've got the whole community together on the anniversary of 9/11. We have to be certain that we mark that anniversary appropriately. And so on that occasion, I was very, very honored to be joined on stage by one of two Niagara Falls firefighters who were first responders on 9/11, the other having passed away, or you would have been there as well. And of course, that's John Asklar, who I'm proud to have working for the city of Niagara Falls, who I also would be proud to, hopefully call my friend. And at that time, we announced our intention to dedicate a new piece of apparatus purchased with casino revenues to those 343 gallant firefighters who lost their lives on 9/11. And at that time, in my enthusiasm, I had suggested that it would be appropriate for us to put John's name on the side of the truck. I was subsequently informed that usually that we don't do that for people who are still alive because it's considered very bad luck, right? And so, we've made an adjustment in terms of the inscription here. Several of the guys who work for John said that they'd be happy to kill him if it would help us get over that little hurdle. So I'll give you their names later, John. It was all in jest, of course. But I can't go to one of these ceremonies without thinking about John Ashklar and Dave Williams and the experience that they had on 9/11. I think it gives our community and our department a special connection to the events of that day, to have had people that were there as first responders. I've said this before, the only reason I think they survived that day is that they couldn't get there fast enough to get killed in the initial response. I think that's basically true. If they'd had a faster ride, they would have been the 344th and 345th firefighter victims that day. So a special connection, I think, from our department to the events of 9/11. I pledge to you that as long as I am mayor of the city of Niagara Falls, we will never forget the events of that day. That as long as I am the mayor of the city of Niagara Falls, we are going to leave no stone unturned in our efforts to make sure that you have the best leaders, the best training, the best equipment, and that we do absolutely everything we can do to ensure that every single one of you comes home safely from work to your loved ones every single day. God bless you, and thank you for being here today.
Thank you, Mayor. We appreciate the speech and all the support. I just wanted to read what the dedication on truck number 2 says. It says, dedicated to 343 firefighters who answered the last alarm on September 11, 2001. Now, there's a second part to this ceremony. We have a patio that we're having put in right now. It's a memorial patio. Placing the first brick in the patio fire department. Located right here on the side here at Memorial Avenue and Hyde Park. Same city officials were instrumental in the apparatus purchase, also helped in the project. I also like to mention some other important city officials, including Director of Public Works Dave Kinney, who helped out, Deputy Director of Public Works John Caso, Robert Spicona Trains, Battalion Chief Dan Bone, whose idea was to do this, and he's been involved in the start and in planning the project. Battalion Chief Ray Colangelo helped getting the markings on the bricks. Firefighter Brian Petronski helped prep the grounds work. And currently, City Bricklayer Adam Cedro, who is currently working on the area, and it should be done in a few weeks. I'd like to have the first brick placed today by, mentioned as the mayor, by John Ashklar, who was present on 9/11, helping survivors. John?
New York City, 9/11/2001.
What will be done for our memorial service on Sunday, October 7th. Hopefully, we'll all attend the service and see the manual.
I'm fine. Sure. Yeah, I got a nice long one.
Okay. First of all, your first and last name spelled both.
John, John, Asklar, Asklar.
And these guys will probably ask the questions.
Okay,
I'm just
sure.
Stay out of it.
What's that mean to you? It must mean something.
Well, it does. It's a nice remembrance of that horrible day 11 years ago, and it's nice that we have this memorial going up to remember all those who made the ultimate sacrifice that day. And it's it's nice to remember those.
What about the truck?
That's also very nice. It's one of our city's way of remembering those 343 who died September 11th, and it's our way of honoring them and remembering them.
John, you were there that day. Can you tell us some of your memories?
It was just chaos. It was a mess, and I still can't believe that I was there on that day, and it was a real honor to help out on that day in our country's time of need.
Honestly, it still must resonate with you after 11 years.
Oh, sure. You can't escape it. You can't get away from it. It's it's something that's always be with you, and that's why this is a real nice memorial to keep the memory of that going. Well, you know, with time, it's less fresh with time. But you know, this is the type of thing that we cannot, you know, ever forget, and hopefully we'll learn from and prepare for in the future. Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much.
Megan.
Let's talk a little bit about today. This means obviously for the cities having 2 firefighters go respond up there.
I think that all of us in New York State feel a special connection to the events of 9/11, but having had 2 members of our own fire department actually there responding that day gives us a special connection. One of them, Dave Williams, has since passed away, and we dedicated a piece of fire equipment to him earlier in my administration. And as I was kind of joking here today, the truck 2 ladder truck that we're dedicating to the 343 first responders who died on 9/11 is really a dedication in many ways to John Ashlar, the surviving member of our force that was there that day. It's considered, I understand, very bad luck to put the name of a living firefighter on the side of a piece of apparatus, but we're certainly there in spirit.
Mayor, you really made it a point to talk about the situation with the Senate conspirators today.
I mean, we're standing here in front of our newest pieces of firefighting equipment. There are 2 ladder trucks. These are the types of trucks that you use to respond to fires in high rises. Appropriately, these were paid for with casino revenues. But I was just trying to,